Well, hello there everyone, Razor Middle here, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have quite the unique Pokemon Top 10 video for you. In today's video, I will be running through 10 Pokemon I think would be able to defeat Thanos. Avengers Endgame is the biggest superhero movie of all time, and is about to become the highest grossing movie of all time too. I myself am a huge Marvel fan, and I got to see Avengers Endgame back in April, and I still have not recovered from that 3-hour experience. So if you came here spoiler free, what are you doing with your life? Go see Avengers Endgame now. With this channel's primary focus being Pokemon, I want to experiment and infuse another passion of mine, Marvel, and see how the Avengers add into the equation. Thanos is quite possibly the most evil villain of all time, and with just one, he'd be able to wipe out half the universe's population just like that. Now, the Avengers were actually able to defeat Thanos in the end, but what if we had 10 Pokemon who could do it much faster? Fear not, because I have compiled a list of 10 Pokemon I feel would be quite the match for Thanos. Think of this Pokemon Top 10 as 10 Pokemon who would be a part of the Pokemon Avengers. I decided to exclude legendary Pokemon like Arceus, because obviously Arceus would stomp Thanos into the ground and we wouldn't even have a top 10 to go over. And yes, that includes you too, Lord Helix. No one can ever match your power. Praise be. You may see a few surprises on the list, so leave me a comment below if you think they would actually be able to defeat Thanos. Leave a like on this video and subscribe too if you like what you see, but without further ado, let's get on to 10 Pokemon who could defeat Thanos. Number 10, Licky. Okay. Let me explain before you give me a weird look, if you haven't already. This Pokemon is one of few on this list who might sound like a strange choice to defeat Thanos, but I'm confident with the right explanation I can tell you why. First of all, Licky is a tank, and he can assist you in any battle with any villain. Its signature feature is obviously its tongue, and while it may look off-putting to many, that's a perfect quality to have when going against evil. One of its Pokedex entries states, its tongue is always soggy with saliva. The saliva contains a solvent that causes numbness. Similarly, Licky's Heart Gold entry states that its saliva can decompose anything. It wraps its long tongue around things to coat them with its sticky saliva. This Pokemon is just all around disgusting, and it'd certainly be far away from any top 10 favorite Pokemon list I make, but I cannot deny that it has itself some unique assets that no other Pokemon can match. Licky also has access to 2 abilities, being Own Tempo and Oblivious. Combined, these 2 allow Licky to avoid being confused, attracted to someone else, or taunted by an opponent. This will most certainly come in handy as Thanos loves to play mind games and taunt his adversaries since he is very egotistical. Also, I never imagined myself typing this out and then repeating it aloud for a video, but there's a weird community on the internet where they think Thanos is attractive. I kid you not, I cannot make this crap up. There's gross artwork everywhere, and I've seen it on Twitter and my eyes have been burned forever and I don't want to see it ever again. This would make Licky immune to any sort of attraction to Thanos if he was like some of those people. Number 9, Goodra. Goodra is a super popular Pokemon in the community, and it's not hard to see why. It's adorable and can pack a powerful punch. If Goodra was a real Avenger, I would say it'd be like Captain America, Iron Man, or Black Widow because they're all fan favorites. Goodra has 2 abilities in particular that would prove beneficial on the battlefield, with one being Hydration. Hydration is an ability where all status problems including burn, paralysis, sleep, frozen, and poison are healed when it's raining. The Marvel Cinematic Universe extends all across the galaxy, and if Thanos just happened to land on the wrong planet where it's raining, he'd be KO'd before he could even blink. The other ability is actually Goodra's hidden ability and is exclusive to the Goodra evolution line. Gooey lowers the opponent's speed by 1 stage when it makes physical contact. Now we know Thanos is definitely a powerful dude who uses his fist to fight, so with every hit he landed on Goodra, he'd get progressively slower and slower. Goodra isn't that slow of a Pokemon either, so he'd be able to take advantage quickly. Goodra's only problem against Thanos is that its defense stat isn't that great, but I'm sure since it's a pseudo-legendary, it'd be a great ally to have on the battlefield. Number 8. We interrupt this amazing video created by Razor Middle to remind you to leave a like and subscribe. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Number 8, Behem. Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe introduces the cosmic aspect to the universe where characters like Captain Marvel and Doctor Strange use otherworldly powers to combat evil. So how perfect would it be for Behem to take on Thanos being the otherworldly cosmic Pokemon? Behem's psychic typing makes it a very unique foe for Thanos because as we know, it was Doctor Strange who revealed what the odds were for beating Thanos by using his powers. It was also Captain Marvel who proved to be the equalizer who helped solidify the Avengers win in Endgame. Behem's Pokedex entry from Pokemon Black Life X and Omega Ruby note that it uses its strong psychic powers to squeeze its opponent's brain, causing unendurable headaches. Crippling Thanos mentally would be one step in your quest to defeat Thanos, as brute strength alone would not be enough to combat him, nor the Infinity Stones. Some of you may look at Behemoth's stats and think it's too fragile to go against Thanos, but think of it like this: if Ant-Man can go against Thanos, so can Behemoth. Number 7. Minior. While we're on the subject of cosmic Pokemon, it'd only be appropriate if Minior would be included on a list of Pokemon who could defeat Thanos. Minior holds the distinction of being the only Pokemon to have access to the ability Shields Down. Shields Down changes the Pokemon into its core form when the HP drops below 50%. Before then, it cannot be affected by status conditions such as burn or paralysis. When in its Meteor form, its defenses are drastically boosted, allowing for it to be able to withstand both physical attacks and any special attacks Thanos may use with the Infinity Stones or Infinity Gauntlet. When it's in its core form, however, not only do its base stats increase to 500, but now that it's in a vulnerable position to attacks being out of its shell, its attack, special attack, and speed stats are all increased as well. This would allow Minior to be both a physical and special sweeper depending on how Thanos was fighting at that point in time. Minior also has access to some status moves such as Shell Smash, Auto Demise, and Defense Scroll to beef up its stats. It also has moves that can cripple Thanos like Confuse Ray or Stealth Rock. Number 6. Arcanine. Arcanine is one of the most powerful non-legendary Pokemon in the entire series. It has perfect stats to go up against Thanos. Arcanine is a Pokemon with lots of type coverage, which allows it to combat its weaknesses such as Rock, Ground, and Water with Electric, Grass, and Ground moves. We saw in both Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame that Thanos likes to explode the infrastructure of planets and throw giant moons at people, so it'd probably be wise to have an Arcanine that can counteract those types of things, right? I think so, right? And most notable of all Arcanine's strong suits is his ability Intimidate, which lowers the attack of its opponent. It's not out of the possibility to intimidate Thanos. In fact, we've seen him at a loss for words on several occasions. Number 5. Roserate. Roserate is an amazing Pokemon with great abilities and moves that make it a perfect matchup to go one-on-one with Thanos. Bulbapedia details Roserate's biology in depth, which makes me think that Roserate would have even more capability to hold its own. The more toxic the poison, the sweeter the aroma becomes. Each hand has a different toxin, but both hands can jab nearly deadly power. It attacks with dancer-like elegance and uses hidden whips covered with poisonous thorns. So basically, to summarize that, poison, poison, and more poison. Along with this biology summary, many of Roserate's Pokedex entries speak of how poisonous it is. Now, Roserate doesn't have much type coverage when it comes to its moves that it can learn, but I'm sure with its great stats and great abilities that it can hold down the fort for the Pokemon Avengers. Number 4. Shedinja. Shedinja is one of the most irritating Pokemon to go up against, and I would know from first-hand experience because back in the day, with the Pokemon Battle Frontier, I came across this thing in Emerald, and I could not beat it for the life of me, and I had no idea as to why. That's all because of Shedinja's one-of-a-kind ability Wonder Guard, where any attack against Shedinja will not be damaging unless you hit it with a super effective move. Obviously, I'm more powerful than anyone in the universe, so if I couldn't beat a Shedinja, that should tell you how strong this thing could be. In addition, Shedinja also has a pretty decent move pool of both moves that it can learn by leveling up and those of which by TM and HM. Giving Shedinja anything from Toxic to X-Scissor would really make this little dude put the fear of Lord Helix into Thanos. Number 3. Aegislash. Don't worry friends, Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield are still in the way. Thanos didn't snap them away, but both forms of Aegislash combine to make a killer Pokemon. In Aegislash's Shield form, its defense and special attack are insane, and the same can be said about its attack and special attack in its Blade form. Imagine this, anytime Thanos goes for an attack, Aegislash can use the exclusive move King Shield, which is essentially Protect, and can transform into its Shield form. But whenever Thanos is on the defense, it can attack in an instant and deal a deadly blow. Aegislash reminds me a lot of Deoxys in its different forms, but the cool thing here is that Aegislash is not a legendary Pokemon, yet has such an amazing ability that it makes it on par with Deoxys in many ways. Thanos would need a well-calculated game plan to even go against stopping Aegislash, but even then, Aegislash has the highest base special defense of any Ghost-type Pokemon, and is tied with its pre-evolution Doublade with the highest base defense of any Ghost-type. Additionally, it's tied with Registeel and Probopass for the highest base special defense for a Steel-type Pokemon. With this unique typing of Steel and Ghost, it adds a lot of value in a battle against Thanos. Number 2. Electrode. Electrode has a lot more power than you initially think. and while it's not every trainer's first choice, I'm sure that it'll be a great opponent against Thanos. Electrode is one of the fastest non-legendary Pokemon out of the entire series. This would allow for Electrode to outspeed Thanos, who's being weighed down by his bulky armor and controlling the Infinity Gauntlet. Along with its speed, Electrode has access to the static ability, which has a 30% chance of paralyzing its opponent. And let's be real here, if Thanos was really battling an Electrode, that would be like a 100% guarantee of paralysis, because if the Avengers can defeat Thanos with only a 1 in 14 million chance of victory, then by those odds, Thanos getting paralyzed is like a 100% guarantee. Your logic, Marvel, not mine. But anyways, Electrode is here for one big reason, and while I stand by my previous points, every good superhero movie needs a sacrifice at the end to save the day. In honor of the late great Iron Man, Electrode is able to use both self-destruct and explosion to KO Thanos once and for all. But let's say we wanted Electrode to have at least some chance of survival while exploding Thanos to ashes. Well, the solution is simple, because all you have to do is throw a focus band on Electrode and there'd be a 12% chance of the focus band activating. And again, the way the real Avengers consistently defy the odds, that's basically a 100% guarantee that Electrode will have this thing activate and leave it with 1 HP. Number 1, Alakazam. Coming in at our top spot of who can defeat Thanos is none other than Alakazam. I mentioned several times in this video that Doctor Strange was the one who told everyone that there was a 1 in 14 million chance of defeating Thanos, and what better Pokemon to fill the role than Alakazam? According to Bulbapedia, Alakazam is able to use all forms of psychic abilities. The overflow of its psychic powers can cause headaches to anyone nearby. These powers are used to move its body, as opposed to its weak muscles. It also uses its psychic powers to hold up its head, which is too heavy to be supported by its neck. Due to its continually growing brain, its head becomes larger and larger with age. It is said to have an excellent memory and can remember everything that it has experienced since hatching as an Abra, and has an IQ that exceeds 5,000. Alakazam is basically the smartest thing that could ever exist, and adding the psychic ability on it just makes it even more menacing. And I haven't even mentioned yet that Alakazam has a Mega Evolution, making it more powerful than when it's not Mega Evolved. Because Alakazam's memory is so good that it can remember every little detail of its life, it could watch entries 10 through 2 on this list battle Thanos and study every detail of its battling style. So if for some reason the other Pokemon can't finish off Thanos, then Alakazam can just swoop in and get the job done. Well, there you have it. There are 10 Pokemon who could defeat Thanos. I really had a lot of fun making this top 10, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Be sure to leave a like, comment below, and share the video with anyone you know. And while you're in the comments below, be sure to leave me a comment on video suggestions you want to see me make during the summer. But until then, I'm Razor Middle, and I'll see you later for alligators.